Welcome to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man. Live from Studio C at media stations in Bohemia, New York.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man. And I'm very happy to see Lisa in the studio this evening.
I am. That traffic is killer, but I'm here.
Oh, nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And you had an exciting weekend this weekend, didn't you?
It was the previous weekend, and yes, got my...
2 weekends?
It was 2 weekends ago. I got my daughter married off. So last Sunday, she was actually made it back home from her honeymoon. She is now in her new home with her husband and starting her life. So the previous Sunday is when she got married, on the 23rd.
Now, this is the second daughter so
Yes.
far this year, correct?
No. My first daughter got married during COVID. She got married in March of 2020, and the venue could not perform. They actually had the county close on them.
Hey.
So they had their nuptials done, pretty much like eloping, you could say. We had to have fill-ins for us. We watched on Zoom. And now we did a party for her like last summer. So now this daughter is married and had her party and everything. So that's done.
How many others you got to go?
One more.
One more to go?
One more to go.
You better be doing a lot of broadcast shows and stuff, like
yeah.
selling
Well,
a lot
this
of
one
loans.
is a son. This one is a son.
Or whatever.
So,
It's still going to cost you a couple of bucks.
It will cost.
Good. So welcome back. Nice to
Thank
see you here.
Good to see you.
This weekend, I was all set for Sunday. Now, why was I set for Sunday? I said to my wife, because we're always going to see the grandkids every weekend. So I said to my wife, listen, the Knicks are playing at 1 o'clock. It's in the middle of the afternoon. All right, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to make some chicken wings. I'm going to have a couple of drinks, and we're going to watch the game, or I'm going to watch the game.
Okay.
And of course, it was a disaster. You know, it started off real good, but it didn't end up too well. But tonight's going to be a hot night, a great night. We have a wonderful guest. We have the owner of Thrive, Flourish, and Grow, Beth McGill, all the way from California. Welcome, Beth.
Florida.
Thank you so much.
I thought you
I'm
said
happy to be here.
Oh, you're welcome to be here. We're happy to have you. And she's from California, but she lives in Florida now.
Is that correct?
No, I'm in California.
That's what I thought.
Oh, I mixed up.
Oh,
Oops. That
that's
was
what
me.
happens when you're not here very often. You got to catch up. Okay, well, welcome here, and tell us a little about Thrive, Flourish, and Grow.
Awesome. Yes, Thrive, Flourish, and Grow are actually all synonyms for the word expansion. And I named that my business Thrive, Flourish, and Grow, which came from journaling, which came from me learning how to meditate. So that's a whole story in and of itself.
So let's go back into your childhood a little bit. When you were a little girl and then a young lady, you lived where?
Yes, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and had a typical childhood. My father was a police officer, and I lived there until I was 17.
And where did you move to? You went to college at that time?
I did. I actually was thrilled to leave Los Angeles, which is funny because I go back all the time now. My first college was in Pepperdine in Malibu.
Nice.
And I played on the tennis team. And then through a series of events, I ended up going my next year to Cal State Bakersfield. So talk about extremes. Going from Malibu, California to Bakersfield was pretty crazy. And then I ended up here in San Luis Obispo at Cal Poly University, San Luis Obispo. And so that's where I finished my studies at.
What was your degree in?
My degree was in physical education. I was a corporate fitness major, believe it or not.
Nice. Okay. All right. So now you get your degree in corporate fitness, physical fitness, and now you're going to take your first job. And what did you do?
Yeah, well, corporate fitness, you would think that I would go to a large company because that was all the rage back in the 80s.
Right.
But I decided that I loved the Central Coast of California and I wanted to stay here. So I did. I was really into windsurfing and just enjoying the Central Coast. So what I did was I decided to stay in the area. And my first job was being a manager of a fitness center. And so I took that route.
Ah.
What was it, one of the brand names, like Gold's Gym or, one of those names?
No, it was a family-owned business fitness center. And then I ran a series of 3 different fitness centers in the county. And then the 4th one was I opened up my very own fitness center at a small little town called Cambria.
How many people were in the town?
Oh my gosh. I know where I live now, it's 10,000, and I'm sure that Cambria is much smaller. But I was going to be a business owner. I was in my 20s, and I have to tell you, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did it anyway.
And how'd you do with it?
I would say it's one of my epic fails. Actually, it was not the right timing and it wasn't the right area, but I thought that everyone should get in great physical shape. And I had this idea for this business. But again, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and it really wasn't the location for this business.
If you had a small little town, and you're opening up like a retail establishment, which is what a gymnasium is, it's bound to fail. You don't have enough traffic that's running in and out of the town.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep. And sometimes it's tough to get people interested.
So who gave you the guidance for something like that? Did you reach out to anybody, or you just made that important, impetuous decision that I'm doing this?
Oh yeah, I just went for it. I was all by myself. I didn't have a mentor back then. I really didn't know what I was doing. But I thought I could do it.
All right, so you did that, and that didn't work out too well. What did you do afterwards?
Yeah, so after that, I decided I still want to be an entrepreneur. So I went out and got my real estate license.
Ah, and how did that go?
In the 80s, in the late 80s here in California. And I have to tell you again, bad timing. We had a water restriction, and so building shut down. And so that ended up to not be very successful as well. But I have to tell you, what I learned about business, looking back, what I learned was a lesson you couldn't get anywhere else.
Right. And, sometimes it's called the school of hard knocks, and we learn so much from that, going in, rolling up your sleeves and just doing it.
Just doing it, and I think back to even when I first got out of college before that first job, I so much wanted to be an entrepreneur. I had an idea for a business, and I laugh now looking back, but I made up business cards before I even started the business, which I never started. But it's funny because I'll look back and see things, and I see this business card that I made way back when.
When you were, I guess, opening up these businesses, I was reading in the information that you had sent that you're good at writing business plans. Did you write your own?
Well, that came much later. Right. So at the time, back in my 20s, no, I didn't know anything about business plans. I had no business background whatsoever.
But I guess that taught you a little bit about business and to enable you to write business plans more carefully for other people.
Yes. I learned when I became a financial advisor, I definitely learned about business plans, and I had a mentor. So that definitely helped.
Oh, those are 2 keys for success. Now, I noticed that you had another career before you went into the financial planning. Could you tell us a bit about that?
Sure. So I was in real estate. Mm-hmm. And after that, I soon became a mom, and I had 2 sons, and I realized something, that I needed to have a real job. Like, this entrepreneur thing wasn't working out for me, right? And even though I felt like it was in my blood. So I called up my university that I graduated from, and I said, can I come back and get my teaching credential? And they said, sure. And that was actually when my first son was only 3 weeks old.
Wow.
So I went back, got my teaching credential, and I became a teacher, and I started teaching when my sons were very little. And I taught for over 20 years.
What did you teach?
And I taught third grade.
Oh, very
for
nice.
over 20 years. And very early on, I also became a single mom. And so it turned out to be the perfect career for me to be able to raise my sons and to be able to provide for them.
During recess
that
periods,
part-
did you do jumping jacks and gymnastics?
Yes, teaching PE was definitely one of my favorite
I kind
things
of
to
figured
do.
it might be.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and some gardening too.
Yes, that was fun too. You know, I liked being able to take kiddos outside. I found that children learn by doing, you know, just like we do, just like
Yeah.
I had done. And getting kids outside and getting their hands dirty, and it really made a difference in not only their education, but really in helping them to have a different perspective on life.
All right, so let's jump into thrive, flourish, and grow. Okay, you started, and now this was done, I guess, after teaching.
Yes, after teaching when I was started my financial services business.
So let's discuss your financial services business, and then we'll jump into thrive, flourish, and grow. And by the way, if anyone would like to call in and ask Beth any questions, the number is 631-987-8477. That's 631-987-8477. And the lines are open. Okay, go ahead, Beth.
Yeah, so I was teaching, like I said, and I was a single mom, and I hadn't really learned much about investing for myself, investing in my future, retirement. I didn't really grow up learning about money in that way. Even though my parents were said, I didn't learn for myself. And about halfway through my teaching career, I started thinking, wow, I'm a single mom. I have these kids, they're going to grow up, they're going to have lives of their own. But what does the future look like for me? What does it mean for me to have what they call this retirement? Like, what does that look like? And I didn't know. And I started asking questions. I started asking my veteran teachers, what is our pension like? What's retirement like? How does that work? And no one could answer my questions. And when the people came in to financial advisors, when people came in to sell us products, which they did all the time, they never really gave us an education, right? And that's what I was craving. I'm a teacher. I love to learn, and I found an opportunity where I was able to join a financial services company and learn for myself, and then also provide financial education and investments to my fellow teachers. So I became fully licensed as a financial advisor in 6 months while I was still teaching full time.
And you had a locked audience.
Right. And I'm curious, you had 2 sons that you were raising. You're busy teaching school, and you did the financial planning program in 6 months. How many licenses was that?
I received my life insurance license, my Series 6 and my Series 63.
Wow. So you had a handful.
You were pretty busy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. Oh, I look back now. I don't know how I did it.
Yeah.
But you did. And how successful was it?
So I started out first with my other teacher friends, and very quickly over the next 3 years did really well. And I built up my business enough so that in the next 5 years, by 2015, I was able to leave teaching and start working as a financial advisor from home. And I had a successful business, and I was building that business. And I had everything. I'm working from home now. I don't have to live my life according to a bell. I can literally go to the bathroom anytime I want to. And let me tell you what, that's a big deal. when you come from the elementary education teaching background, that was huge. People would ask me, what's the definition of success for you? And I would laughingly say, oh, that means I can use the restroom whenever I want to. Like I was experiencing this freedom that was phenomenal.
And that was pre-pandemic, I expect.
That was 15.
That was 2015.
Nice.
But now those entrepreneurial juices that had been flowing right out of college, that drove me to start the fitness center, to get my real estate license. Now that all came to fruition. Nice. And that's when I learned how to write business plans. And now I had a mentor.
Who was your mentor?
My mentor was someone else in the financial services that had been in the industry for 20 years. Yeah, really good mentor. And I was thriving and my business was growing. Again, I had been able to leave teaching, which was amazing.
That's a big step.
Yeah. But you know what happened was, even though I had everything going for me, I was really hard on myself. Like I had all these expectations for myself and my business. And I was writing those goals, but they were crazy goals. And I was putting a lot of stress on myself, which after a couple of years, I thought, why am I doing this to myself for? I realized, you hear the saying, you got to get out of your own way. I needed to get out of my own way, but I didn't know how, honestly.
So how'd you find out?
Yeah, well, after a couple of years of doing that to myself, I realized that I really wasn't living this amazing life in joy. Like I live at the beach, I love to surf, but I was so intense on the business only that I wasn't enjoying. I thought, this is crazy. Like this isn't what I want my life to be, right? At the time, people really didn't talk about work-life balance. If they did, I didn't hear it and I didn't understand it.
Have you ever hired anybody to work with you?
Initially, when I first left teaching, I did hire a business coach.
But that's a business coach. I'm talking about now that when you're set up as this Series 63, you got all these credentials, whatever, and your business was flowing and growing. And did you hire someone to take some of the pressure off so you could go surfing?
I did. I had an assistant I had a couple of different assistants that did come in and help with some of the things that I didn't love to do, filing, some of that.
Office duties.
But really, the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't have virtual assistants then.
No, it was pretty much, it was me. And honestly, I was doing it to myself. And one day I had this idea. I said, instead of doing everything that my mentors are telling me to do, and instead of doing what I think other people think I should do, I'm going to do this crazy idea that I don't even know where it came from. And I set my timer on my phone for 5 minutes. And I said, I'm going to practice being quiet. And I'm going to listen, because I was so busy, right? Everybody uses that word. They're so busy. And I decided to be quiet. And I did. And I set my timer for 5 minutes and I sat there and I said, God, who am I? Because I knew I was a teacher. I knew I was a financial advisor. I knew I was a wife and a mom and a sister and all that, but I didn't know who I was on the inside.
Interesting.
Did you find out?
I did. So I heard a word, I heard a message, whatever you want to call it. And I started hearing, every time I would sit down, I would hear a word. I go, oh, that's cool. And so then I would do it the next day and the next day. And then I started writing those words down and I started journaling them. And then one day I thought, ooh, I'm going to look up the synonyms for these words. I want to find out everything I can about these words. And I did. And I would say these words came for about 90 days. And after 90 days, I admittedly called it now at meditation. When I started, I thought meditation was for weirdos. It didn't resonate
It's
with me
not?
at all.
It's not for widows?
It's not. Well, I
Did you
guess
know
I'm
that?
weird, but
Norman.
Oh, I
it was
know.
really fun. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so that started this spiritual journey. And that's where, when I decided to start this business and I wanted a name for it, I went back to my journal and I saw the synonyms for expansion, which was one of the words that had come to me. And three of those words stood out on my journal page: thrive, flourish, and grow. And so that's
Ah,
So
where
that's
I
where
got
that
the
came
name.
from.
Mhm.
very
All right,
nice.
so let's jump in now. Tell us what thrive, flourish, and grow can does for you and does for other people.
Yeah. Well, I started the business when I was and I had the idea for the business when I was at a Bob Proctor event. If you know Bob Proctor, he was in the movie The Secret. And he was speaking to a large audience of about 1,000 people down in Los Angeles. And he teaches the law of attraction. And he said, this is the law of attraction. Anybody can teach this. And I remember his words. And I was thinking, out of 1,000 people, he's only looking at me. And I had an idea. I thought, I'm a teacher. Like, I'm really good at putting content together. And I had an idea for a workshop and teaching the law of attraction, teaching people to look inward and ask themselves the question, who am I? And I did. I put a workshop together. In the next 6 months, I invited some friends and they came and they loved it. So that really started my creating. And I never knew I was a creative, but I started creating workshops. And then when 2020 came, I created, like many other people did, I created an online course. And so that's where that all started. I teach the law of attraction. I teach people to, tap into who they are
Oh,
as a
hold one.
spiritual
Let's
being.
hold 1 second. You teach this, and you teach it online via Zoom or internet, what have you. Is that correct?
It
All
is.
right.
Right
So
now, I
now,
have
if
self-directed courses.
now if people want to get in touch with you, all right, what is the number they can call and find out about these programs that you're offering?
Absolutely. My number is 805-441-5983.
Could you
Again,
repeat
that's
that?
805-441-5983.
Great. Now tell us what the programs are.
Sure. So I have a free course that's called Dare to Dream, where it's about 5 hours of content that people can go on. And it's a self-directed course that really gives you the basics of what I teach. And then I have another, my larger course is called Live a Life You Love Now. And it's complete with 49 modules. It takes you through learning how to have awareness of your thoughts and your feelings. It takes you through understanding that we really need to forgive in order to create this life that we love. It also takes you through energy and understanding vibration and frequency. And then the fun part is understanding that we use our imagination to create a life that we love. So that's my self-directed course. And then I've also created 100 inspirational writing prompts. And I have some audio that goes with that. And all of those are on my learning platform.
So, wait, you said 49 lessons for one of your programs. That's
Yeah.
practically an entire year. How long are each of your lessons?
Oh, that's a great question, Lisa. Yeah, they're very short.
Okay.
So each video is about 5 to 10 minutes, and then there's homework. Because remember, I'm a teacher, and so I know
Right.
that we need to take information in bite-sized pieces, and then we need to do our homework, our reflections to go with each lesson.
To ingrain it into that brain. It's like see one, do one, teach one. Yep.
Absolutely.
What are some of these courses? What are the names of some of these courses that you give?
Yeah, so the free course is called Dare to Dream. I think that oftentimes we don't allow ourselves to dream and to really think about what we want, what we desire. And the other course that I just mentioned is called Live a Life You Love Now. Because I don't want people to wait. So oftentimes people say, I'm really going to go after my dreams when, when the kids move out, when I retire, when I do this, when I do that. I believe that we can be living a life that we love right now.
So very true. It's like, yeah, what are we going to do when we grow up? Well,
how many
we're
people
here.
do you have registered to your courses? Or how many people over the years have you joined your courses to find out what you do?
Yeah, so mostly I've done beta courses where I have, especially since 2020 with Zoom, it's been so much fun to lead and guide people through interactive courses. And so I've done a lot of that. And I've had an additional course that I've led people through Zoom called HEAL, which stands for Health, Energy, Alignment, and Love. And so I'm often creating new courses and putting them out there for people. And yes, the responses have been amazing. And I love seeing people be able to experience a transformation in even a short amount of time. And then I've created a newer course called Life Expansion and Transformation, which is it takes people through my book as well as utilizing my journal. So that's kind of on the way. I'm taking a wait list for that currently.
Do you have courses for kids?
No, but you know what? I have thought about writing a children's book.
What you were a teacher for 20 years. that you got to do that.
So you said you're an author as well. So tell us about that a little bit.
Yes. Well, it was so exciting. I mentioned to you the course HEAL. I had done that at the end of a couple years ago, and I was so excited to get that going a year ago. And one day it was, I can't remember. It was last January of 2022. And I received a message that said, stop creating courses, write the book. Because when I meditate, I want to have information. I'm seeking information and for guidance. And so I did, but the conversation went kind of like this, because I've never I've never been inspired to write a book before. So during my meditation, I was like, oh, I really don't want to write a book. I don't know how to write a book. And I felt inspired to do so regardless, and to take the creative courses that I put together and to put all the exercises into my book. So I have 30 exercises. I have 16 books that I reference, things that I learned from, and I put everything that I've learned in my spiritual journey into the book so that someone else can read it and they don't have to take years to go through it. They can really find out who they are very quickly.
So don't you think I think a book for the kids from you would be a great idea. But I also think college students, high school students that are first stepping out into adulthood could learn quite a lot from someone with your experience.
Yes.
Yeah, mindset is so important, and especially for kids to know that they can be empowered, right? I think for young children, that's really important. And then for young college age, that's a very unique age, and they're going through something very different right now. And I am working with a group called Women Making Waves to create a mentorship program for women specifically that are ages 18 to 25. So I am currently working with a group right now that's doing that.
Nice.
What about middle-aged women and such who haven't been as successful as you have been, but always wanted to? But you couldn't, like you said, had kids, whatever financial situations didn't allow it for them to do it. But
Life
now
disruption.
they want to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that really is my target audience.
Those
is someone that maybe they haven't had the knowledge or the understanding or the belief in themselves. And that's what I want to do. I want to empower others to go for their dreams. So that's why I put everything into the book. I put everything into my journal. I have a Facebook group. So I'm doing my best. That's my business, right? I get to empower other people, and it's fulfilling, and it's work that I love.
Well, let's help you continue to empower people by giving again how people can get in touch with you.
Yes. So my phone number is 805-441-5983. Again, 805-441-5983.
And if people want to reach your website, it's thriveflourishgrow.com. Thriveflourishgrow.com. And they can also find you all over Facebook, really. LinkedIn, Instagram, pinning. You're all over the place.
She's got her social media down.
And we're going to take, because we need to, like I said, pay the bill.
Bills.
We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and hear more about your story. And okay? So stay tuned, everybody. Hi, everybody. My name is Norman Wasserman, and next to me is Lisa Rodino. Lisa and I host a TV podcast show called The Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man.
So what does the Business Power Hour do? We are here to talk about you and your business. We will put you on air for 1 hour to highlight your business in front of thousands of viewers worldwide, helping you generate more leads to grow your business.
And we do this every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here. What are you doing?
I'm keeping you on point. My name is Lisa Rodino. I am a commercial loan advisor and broker. Have you been finding that your business's cash flow is not where you need it to be? Have you found yourself taking from your personal accounts to meet your business's obligations? Have you found that those quick solutions of quick money are starting to get awfully expensive? My job is to find the right funding products for my clients so they can get back to working in their business and give me the task of finding the best options for their situation. Give us a call today to learn more. 516-268-0350.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friend Entertainment USA. My name is Norman Wasserman. I am also known as the Music Man. Let me just tell you a little bit about Friend Entertainment. We put on concerts for charities, and we do that everywhere from New York to Las Vegas. We do R&B, Motown, rock and roll, jazz, whatever it is that you wish. Friend Entertainment will deliver the best of the best for you and your charity. Here are some of the names of the talent that have performed with us on our stage. Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, The Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire, the one and only ELO, Elton John himself, Kool and the Gang, and the fabulous Donna Summer. Go to our website, friendentusa.com. That's www.friendentusa.com, or feel free to call us at 631-698-9696. 631-698-9696, and we'll see you at the next show. And welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man and our special guest, Beth McGill of Thrive, Flourish, and Grow. And you're really teaching us a whole bunch of stuff tonight. It's always nice to have people come in when, we meet at network groups or at parties or whatever, and you really don't know anybody until you do a one-on-one and have a conversation. But now we're doing 1 on 5,000.
Yeah, the one-on-ones are nothing these days.
Right. Now we have a huge following that's listening to you and finding out about you, and that's great. So what else can we tell these viewers that are watching you this evening? Questions. Let's go to a couple of questions that we came up with for you. How did you get started doing Energy's work, and what did you do, and who is your ideal client?
Yeah, so we haven't talked about energy work yet, have we?
No, so we're going to do it now.
Yeah. So I had started my courses, I had started my business, and in 2021, oh my goodness, I met this fantastic woman who she was a business coach. And I had a one-on-one, speaking of 101s, I had a one-on-one with her. And there was something about her, and she called herself a psychic with an MBA. And
That's
I
an
said,
interesting title.
I know, right? And I told her, I don't want to hire you to be my business coach, but I want to learn how to do what you do, because I knew that she was doing something behind the scenes. And she explained her energy work to me. And I said, yeah, I want to learn how to do that. And she didn't necessarily teach people, but she just decided to teach a small group of us. And that's where I learned how to do my energy work that I do. And it's been amazing. And then this last year, I also became a certified hypnotherapist.
Whoa.
And I've created my own, I know, I keep surprising you. So now I've created my own modality using both hypnotherapy and energy work combined, which is very powerful.
And who do you use that on? The people that join your seminars or your teaching
Yes.
programs?
So that's how I provide my one-on-one work. So I teach and I have courses and I give workshops. And then I do my individual one-on-one work with people who either they need a healing for emotional or physical, or maybe they want to clear relationships. We really can help people. Maybe they want to get clarity on a business decision. The energy work is very powerful that I do. Yeah.
Does this energy work help them with their businesses? Does it clears their mind or gets them set straight?
Yes. It's whatever they need clarity on, whatever someone is struggling with an issue, any type of issue, whether it's business or personal, but it's definitely it's powerful in the way that it works.
You talk a lot about energy. What is the most powerful way that we can increase what you call our vibration?
Yes, beautiful question. I have found that the easiest and the most profound way to increase our vibration and our energy is through gratitude and appreciation. Really feeling a profound sense of gratitude and appreciation can really up your vibration in a meaningful way. And not just, so many people say, oh, I write in a journal or I have a gratitude journal. I mean, more than that. It's not about writing down what you're grateful for. It's about really feeling it in your heart and in your body, and really feeling appreciation for all that you have every day.
What is your definition, though, of vibration? What is the synonym for vibration in your world?
In my world, I understand that everything is energy. And, Einstein said it, Tesla said it. They all said energy is everything. So it's in the physical, it's in the non-physical. And even when we have a thought, right, our thoughts are energy. So we have a vibration and we emit a frequency. So when we think about it, if I have a thought, that's a vibration. When I have a feeling, I'm emitting a frequency. So I think of everything in terms of energy and vibration.
And it could either repel you or attract you. So there's different ways. Now, you speak about law of attraction. Can you tell us about law of attraction? What is it?
Yeah. So the law is like a law of gravity, right? It just is. And most people don't know how to use it. We don't have to worry about using the law of gravity. We get it. We understand it.
We can't fight
we don't
it.
have to go to school to understand it, for
Right.
sure. But the law of attraction is very similar. It simply is, just like gravity is. And you simply put, you get what you think about, right? You get what you think about. And again, people have been talking about that for centuries. So when we talk about the law of attraction, I get people first to be aware of what it is they're thinking about, because oftentimes that's the issue. Many times people will say, oh, I really want to have a lot of money in my bank account, but what they're focused on and what they're thinking about is the lack of money in their bank account. So what am I putting more energy into? Is it the fact that I want more or that I don't have enough? And whatever we're putting that energy into is what the law of attraction is responding to.
Now, let's talk about this a little bit further. You, me, and Lisa, is that correct English?
No, not exactly.
Lisa, you and I?
Yes,
okay,
that's
we'll
better.
do that. I know
Okay.
it like kind of like hit me in the head as I said it. Belong to an organization called NRG. And the owner of NRG bases his whole group on the law of attraction. Is it the same law of attraction with him as it is with you? Are there different types of laws of attraction?
It is one and the same. There is one law of attraction. Yes.
You have some deep questions there, Norman.
Yeah, well, let's get into it. I mean, we're here talking about something that's energy.
Yeah.
So he says, why don't you explain, because you've been there a little bit longer, the law of attraction from Mike.
Well, the law of attraction, you're attracted to certain individuals that you may hit it off with and be able to communicate easily with. And then there are others that not so much, but the law of attraction is definitely something he uses to bring people together. And, he'll think, oh, you need to meet this person or you need to meet that person. And it's all to help to build your business.
If you do such, it's going to come back to you.
Right.
All right, with reward.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that reward could be monetary, it could be spiritual, it could be friendship, it could be whatever it may be. I mean, I've met people in RNG that I haven't done business with, but I think they're great. So we become buddies.
Right.
And we get to know each other a little bit more. And, whatever the future brings, the future will bring. What is the first thing in the morning that gets you started living a life of magic and miracles?
Yes, one of the things I do, and again, it's because I want to keep my vibration high. The very first thing that I do when I realize that I'm awake is I'm grateful and thankful for the opportunity for a new day. I have a new day. I'm awake. Like I'm that first breath, I'm awake. Thank you. Thank you. And the second breath that I take, I'm aware of my physical body. And again, I say thank you. So I'm here. I have this physical body. And then my third breath, I'm in so much gratitude and appreciation for all of the opportunities that are going to come to me that day. So I have the expectation that wonderful things are going to happen. So just with the first three breaths, anybody, that's something that anybody can do.
Yes. So your business, you talk about the seminars that you have, but you also had spoken about individual Zooms. Can you explain that? You're offering more than one offering for your business?
Yeah, so my heals sessions are done either via Zoom or by phone. And by heal, I mean the hypnotherapy, the energy alignment. And those sessions we just work one-on-one, and I ask for guidance, whether it's more hypnotherapy, whether it's more energy, and I get that guidance, and that's how I'm able to work with people on a one-on-one basis.
So hypnotherapy over the phone.
Yeah, so if it's hypnotherapy, I do request a Zoom because I need to see people as I'm getting them to relax. So I see how they're responding. If it's an energy session only, I can do that via just by phone.
I can't even imagine how you can do that
over the
Zoom.
miles, and yeah, crazy. Crazy
It
what can happen.
works. There are a couple of psychotherapy type techniques that do need to be done in person, but not necessarily.
And that was
Yeah.
additional training on top of everything else that you've done.
I'm sorry, pardon. I didn't quite get that.
Okay, I said, and that was additional training on top of everything else that you've done.
Yeah, so I
Wow.
went through a hypnotherapy certification course through Mind Valley this last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was amazing. I met people from all over the world. The instructors, the teachers are some of the top hypnotherapists out of the UK, and so it brought together this wonderful community.
Nice. Now, was that a virtual event or was that in person?
No, that was virtual. That was over 4 months.
Nice.
Let us go to your books. Not book, but books. How many total books have you written?
I've written the one book. I have it here, actually. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I've written one book. It launched on January 24th of this year. So excited. And it did achieve #1 international bestseller status. So that was really fun.
That's awesome.
And then my follow-up book, so that's the one book, but then I also followed up with a journal to accompany it, or it can be a standalone. And I call that the 129-day journal. And right now I'm running a challenge using this in my Facebook group. So this is it has either an affirmation or a quote, and then I give directions and how people can utilize those. So it's been really fun.
Nice. And how can folks reach you?
Well, they can reach me by my phone number, 805-441-5983, 805-441-5983, or my website, which is thriveflourishgrow.com.
Great. And do you have some upcoming events coming?
You know, I'm so excited. I have a book signing event. It is in person in San Luis Obispo, and it's going to be this month, May 23rd at 5:30. And it's at this really fun place called Vibe Health Lounge. So it's not at a typical bookstore. It's at a place that has a really cool vibe. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
You know, let me ask you a question, though, which we kind of like skipped over. So we're going to just regress a bit. What's your book about?
Yes. So my book, Allow Life to Happen and Receive Everything You Desire, is really about not just my spiritual journey. It's all of the exercises. It's about 30 different exercises that I did personally as I was trying to figure out this who am I, and some stories, but really it's about the reader. It's about the reader to understand the law of attraction and how to implement it in their lives. So that's really what it's about.
And this is the accumulation of all your years worth of experience and such that you put into this, what's 149 pages and such? Is that what you said?
Yes.
So I remember that.
And 49 lessons.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess 49, number 49 is something to do in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should search that out.
Yes. I love numbers. It's fun.
Yeah.
Do numbers mean anything to you? They do to a lot of people.
Yeah, they really do. For example, for the 129-day journal, I was given those quotes and affirmations that equaled 129. Again, I get into guidance for that understanding. And I did stop at 129. And then for fun, I don't put too much into it, but I do trust it. I looked up the angel number 129, and it was very impactful. It had meaning for me. So, you know, if it has meaning for you, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But for me, it's fun, and I do like to look up meanings of numbers.
Well, we want to thank you for being here this evening. You were really inspiring for everything that you've done.
Well,
Yes.
can I just mention one thing that I
Sure,
forgot?
go right ahead.
For some reason, it didn't come up. And that is last year on June 1st, I sold my financial services business.
Oh, you did?
No, we had no idea.
Wow.
That's great.
So you're no longer doing the financial services?
No, last June
Oh.
1st, I sold my business. And so I was able to really propel that business in a very short amount of time, enough to be able to sell it. So the timing and everything's been really has been magical.
And how many years did you have your financial business?
Well, I first got my licenses in 2010, sold it in 22, so 12 years altogether. Although those first few years were really, me learning and gaining my expertise. So really about the last 7 years.
Was it sold to a major company or to a practitioner?
To another financial services firm.
Nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Very good. So that's part of your plan that you weren't expecting but arose, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when I first started out, my purpose for becoming a financial advisor was to learn for myself, because I need to learn for me, and I found out that other people needed to learn as well. But the question I keep asking is, how can I help more people?
Well, you seem
And
to be
so-
doing it. You're coming up with different ideas and situations, and that's great. So we thank you so much for being on the show. It was really enlightening. It was great stuff, and we wish you, Lisa and I wish you the very, very best. And hopefully you'll be back again after you write your next book.
Yes.
Yes, my
can't
children's book. You've inspired me.
Well, there
Thank
you go.
Yeah,
Now I
there
want
you
a
go.
daily report, weekly report on how that book is going on.
wait. Yeah, and
Okay, weekly for sure.
Yes,
right.
and we got to get you at the college level too, and get in front of those students before they start their journeys into entrepreneurship.
Yes, yes. And thank you both so much. It's been really fun.
It's really our pleasure. Stay on there as we say goodbye to everyone tonight.
Okay.
All right. Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. She got a lot on
Yeah.
her plate.
Exactly.
Done just terrific. It's really great.
Yes, and those one-on-ones don't serve much, do they?
No. And she's doing, I hope she realizes that she's doing a one-on-one tonight, but with thousands.
Everybody that we
So
have watching.
it's different. If they were sitting in the
Audience?
in the audience, there would be
Yeah.
a different perspective
Right.
that she would have. So that's
Right.
great. But
Yeah.
anyway, we'll see everybody next Tuesday night at 7:00. We thank you for tuning in to the Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man, and God bless. Have a great week. Thank you very much.
Take care, everybody. See you next time.
Good night.
Good night.
The Business Power Hour with Lisa and the Music Man is sponsored by Media Stations. Create your own media and have your own station. To get started with your own content, call or text 516-448-2066. That's Media Stations in Bohemia,